In 1974, he was television's golden boy, until Fonzie happened. What followed was a brutal power struggle that reshaped the industry. Storylines were hijacked, dignity was stripped away, and a friendship was pushed to the breaking point. Now, Henry Winkler unveils the real reason Happy Days' original star walked away, and the price everyone paid for fame. Born on October 30th, 1945 in Manhattan, Henry Winkler grew up in a financially stable yet emotionally challenging household. His parents, German Jewish immigrants who had fled Nazi Germany, were strict and unsympathetic to his struggles. They called him a dumb dog in German, unaware that his difficulties in school were due to undiagnosed dyslexia. Labeled lazy by teachers, Henry battled feelings of inadequacy until he discovered acting. At 13, after watching West Side Story, he knew performing was his calling. His bar mitzvah was another turning point. He memorized his Torah portion, proving to himself that he was capable. Despite his parents' disapproval, Henry pursued his dream. He attended Emerson College and later earned a spot at the prestigious Yale School of Drama. Yale was grueling, especially with his reading challenges, but he pushed through, relying on raw talent and determination. After graduating in 1970, he moved to New York, scraping by on odd jobs and auditioning for anything he could. That persistence paid off. He booked 42 commercials in a single year. Small theater roles followed, including a part in 40 Carats on Broadway, which put him on Hollywood's radar. By 1973, Henry had begun making a name for himself. He landed a minor role in The Lords of Flatbush and made small TV appearances. That same year, he auditioned for Happy Days. Initially considered for a lesser role, he was asked to read for Arthur the Fonzarelli. That moment changed everything. When Happy Days premiered in 1974, Fonzie was never meant to be the star. The show centered around Richie Cunningham, with Fonzie as a secondary character, the cool but rough-around-the-edges guy from the neighborhood. He appeared in just 16 of the first 24 episodes, with a backstory of being abandoned by his father and raised by his grandmother. Originally, producers had their eyes on Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, but Henry's audition sealed the deal. His improvisation during a mirror scene won them over. At 28, relatively unknown but determined, he brought Fonzie to life in a way no one else could. Even in his limited screen time, small moments revealed the character's depth, like in the Christmas episode, when the Cunninghams invite him over because he has nowhere else to go. What started as a side role quickly became a sensation. Fonzie wasn't just a supporting character. He was taking over the show. Audiences were captivated by his perfect mix of toughness and vulnerability, forcing Happy Days to shift its focus. At first, ABC executives weren't convinced. They worried his greaser image would send the wrong message, and even banned his leather jacket, unless he was near a motorcycle. Writers had to awkwardly insert the bike into scenes just to keep Fonzie in character. But, as his popularity exploded, ABC caved. By season 2, the leather jacket became permanent. Fonzie became a cultural icon. His catchphrases, "Aye" and "sit on it," became national slang. He could fix anything with a simple tap, like striking a jukebox to make it play. By 1976, his face was everywhere, on lunchboxes, posters, and toys. In 1977, he was even voted more popular in Japan than the emperor. Politicians scrambled to associate with him, hoping to win over young voters. But behind the scenes, tensions were brewing. Ron Howard, the show's original lead, felt sidelined as Fonzie's popularity soared. The network even considered renaming the series Fonzie's Happy Days, sparking outrage. Henry Winkler opposed the idea, arguing it would be unfair to the cast. Howard, feeling pushed aside, threatened to walk away, and creator Gary Marshall stood by him. The compromise? Winkler received equal billing in the credits. Despite the power struggle, the cast remained close. And when Winkler won a Golden Globe, he made sure the entire team joined him on stage. Keeping Happy Days an ensemble show proved to be the right decision. The series ran for 11 seasons, cementing its place as one of television's most beloved sitcoms. But when it ended in 1984, Winkler faced an unexpected reality. Fonzie had made him a star, but also trapped him. For nearly a decade, he struggled to land roles. "I couldn't get hired for 8 or 9 years because I was the Fonz," he later admitted. Determined to reinvent himself, Winkler pivoted to directing and producing. His 1988 directorial debut, Memories of Me, wasn't a major success, but it was a step forward. In 1993, he directed Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. Producing offered him a fresh start, and in 1985, co-creating MacGyver changed everything. The show ran for 7 seasons, securing his financial future and proving he was more than just an actor. Yet, one regret still lingers: turning down Grease. In 1977, he was offered the role of Danny Zuko, but declined, worried it was too similar to Fonzie. John Travolta took the part, and the film became a global phenomenon. "I went home and had orange juice," Winkler later joked. Travolta went home and bought a plane. Years later, Winkler staged a triumphant return to acting. In 2003, he played the hilariously incompetent lawyer Barry Zuckerkorn on Arrested Development, proving he could laugh at himself. Then, in 2018, Barry redefined his career. His role as acting coach Gene Cousineau was funny, vulnerable, and deeply layered. At 72, Winkler won his first Emmy, 42 years after his first nomination. A life-changing revelation came in 1977 when Winkler, then 31, discovered he had dyslexia. It happened when his stepson, Jed, struggled in school. As doctors explained the symptoms, Winkler recognized them instantly. They mirrored his own lifelong battle with reading and writing. For the first time, he understood that his difficulties weren't laziness, they were dyslexia. Relief came with frustration. He had spent years being mislabeled and misunderstood. In school, he carried a 2.2 GPA and ranked in the bottom 3% of his class. Teachers dismissed him as unmotivated. After his diagnosis, he became a passionate advocate for early testing, believing it could have spared him years of unnecessary struggle. Despite the challenges, he adapted. To memorize scripts, he listened to lines and repeated them aloud. Dyslexia never defined him. It fueled his determination. His journey stands as proof that reinvention is always possible, no matter when in life it happens. But Winkler's impact went beyond his own success. His story changed lives. Studies estimate that nearly 20% of people have dyslexia, yet many go undiagnosed. By 2025, Winkler had spoken to over 250,000 students, urging them to embrace their strengths and never feel limited by their struggles. Beyond his career, Winkler's greatest success is his marriage to Stacy Weitzman. They met in 1976, married in 1978, and built a loving blended family. Their bond was tested when Stacy battled breast cancer in 2001, but their love endured. In 2023, they celebrated 45 years of marriage by renewing their vows, a testament to their lifelong partnership. Winkler found unexpected success as a children's book author. His Hank Zipser series, inspired by his dyslexia, became a bestseller, followed by Here's Hank, which used a special font to help struggling readers. His books not only entertained, but also empowered kids facing similar challenges. In 2022, at 77, Winkler began writing his memoir, Being Henry, The Fonz and Beyond. Revisiting his past was emotional, uncovering long-buried tensions on Happy Days. Ron Howard, once the show's lead, felt pushed aside as Fonzie's popularity soared. ABC's attempt to rename the show Fonzie's Happy Days in 1978 nearly made Howard quit, but Winkler opposed the change, fighting to keep the ensemble intact. Behind the scenes, dynamics were complicated. Anson Williams, Potsy, and Tom Bosley, Howard Cunningham, resented Fonzie's dominance. Erin Moran, Joni, struggled with substance abuse, while Scott Bios, Chachi, a rival, created competition. Yet Winkler also formed deep bonds, championing Robin Williams for Mork and Mindy and supporting a young Harrison Ford. Howard, frustrated by network politics, left in 1980 to pursue directing, a move that changed his life. Meanwhile, Winkler, initially typecast as Fonzie, reinvented himself as a producer, director, and later, an Emmy-winning actor. Despite their career shifts, Winkler and Howard's friendship remained strong. When Howard decided to leave Happy Days, he personally called Winkler. Though shocked, Winkler understood. He later visited Howard on the set of Night Shift, 1982, proud of his transition into filmmaking. Their bond was celebrated at the 2024 Emmy Awards, marking 50 years since Happy Days premiered. The event recreated Arnold's Drive-In, and when Winkler, 78, and Howard, 70, took the stage, the crowd erupted. When the theme song failed to play, Winkler, channeling Fonzie, fixed it with a jukebox hit, earning a standing ovation. Beyond nostalgia, Winkler honored Howard's recent Emmy win for his Disney Plus documentary on Jim Henson. Their thunderbolt chemistry remained undeniable. Their friendship extended beyond Hollywood. Winkler became the godfather to Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, even walking her down the aisle alongside Ron. Their legendary bond was even studied in university courses as an example of lasting creative partnerships. Winkler summed it up best. "Ron and I aren't just co-stars or friends, it's a connection that defies time, and I'm grateful for it every day."